Where else but in the Sunshine State would oranges represent the best of the best? The crowds know. The first SEC Gymnastics Championships of the new millennium. For some, it's a farewell performance. For others, the preparation for one last chance at a national championship. For all, it's a good time competing at the highest level. The atmosphere is contagious. The eye is on the prize for five-time defending champion Georgia, where championships are part of who they are. From the upperclassmen, to the coaches, to the fans, they're expecting nothing less. The thorn for Georgia will be Alabama, who may be peaking at just the right time. Boundless enthusiasm follow the tide wherever they go. The quest for the perfect formula, a perfect 10, next. The Stephen C. O'Connell Center on the campus of the University of Florida in Gainesville. Home to the Florida Gators, tonight hosts the most elite group of collegiate gymnasts you'll ever find in a conference meet. It's the 2000 SEC Gymnastics Championships on SEC TV. Hi, everybody. I'm Justin Kazana, along with Lori Strong-Ballard, as we're set to bring you an event with 14 All-Americans and 3 teams ranked in the top 10 in the country.
The parity in college gymnastics is just incredible. No longer do you see a team go undefeated through the entire season, and that just places more importance on the SEC and national championships. This is the night these girls have been working for all season. The SEC is the toughest conference in the nation, and that's an advantage for these 6 teams come nationals. A competitive environment builds champions, and the proof is in the past. The last 6 of 10 national titles have gone to SEC teams.
And certainly when we talk about the Super 6 coming up in a few weeks in Boise, Idaho, you expect at least 2 of these teams to be there, Alabama and Georgia, who's trying to defend their 5th straight SEC title.
We'll be watching Alabama and Georgia very closely tonight as the fight continues. They have met 3 times this year. Alabama has 2 wins. Georgia has 1. Georgia is a little bit less experienced. They consider this a rebuilding year, yet they've had a spectacular season so far. They will be at a loss without Kathleen Shreves. She'll only compete on the bars after hyperextending both of her knees just a couple weeks ago. But this team has an experienced coaching staff and sheer competitiveness. They know how to win.
But always on their heels, the Alabama Crimson Tide. They know how to do it.
They will certainly get a fight from Alabama. This should be their year. They have depth and experience. And the coaching staff has saved some of their athletes throughout the season to avoid injury and burnout, but this is the night they've been saving them for. It is time for them to shine because things are going to heat up between Alabama and Georgia.
And oddly enough, the one time that Alabama lost to the Gym Dogs, they had their highest score of the year. That was earlier this season. Now, 24 hours before the first gymnasts hit the meet, this meet really got started. And that was with the draw that decides the rotation of the entire event. The host staff at Florida came up with a unique twist on the draw for rotations by putting logos on the state's most famous export. The Gators' Judy Markell drew her team's orange, followed by Dee Dee Bro of LSU. That set the order of the draw. Next, it was Christy Litchie picking for Georgia. They will start on bars.
Start on bars.
Kentucky's Chrissy Hefferlin wanted anything but beam when she chose for Kentucky.
No! Tear up those ballots, everyone.
6 teams, 4 apparatus. Something had to give. When it was all said and done, Alabama and Auburn will start the competition with byes. Host Florida starts things off on the floor and ends with a bye, along with Georgia. LSU winds up with the Olympic rotation. Depending on who you ask, it all sounds good.
This competition, it's not about how you start and how you finish. You got to do everything right. You got to do the byes right. we would either have started on balance beam or ended on balance beam would have been how I picked it. Because it also would have been good for us to end on uneven bars, but I really think when we hit our balance beam, we're as good as anybody in the conference.
Our draw is fine. We start on a bye, and then we go to our best event. So I think for us, it works out fine.
This is not what I would choose, but, you know, we teach our kids early that they've got to start on whatever event and be strong. Good teams can start or finish anywhere. We are a good team on beam if we hit, and so if we can knock out that first event, I think it's going to be smooth sailing for us the rest of the meet.
I'd rather be on the floor the last rotation, you know, because then you feel like you're in the thick of the meet. You're not done, and then everybody else is still competing, you know. But that's just, I mean, I don't think that's going to determine who's the winner. It would have been more fun to be out on the floor. On the other hand, you look at the positive side of that, we can go in, kick butt really well, really fast, and then do our damage and get out of there and then relax while everybody else is still sweating it out.
From an athletic standpoint, I'd like to be on the floor competing in the last rotation. I hate that we're on a bye. You know, it's just the fact that Alabama and LSU are going to be out there, and we're going to have to just sit there and watch our destiny fall into place. I don't like that because I would want to compete, but I think our team certainly is happy with it. They feel like we're going to set the pace. You know, Alabama has to follow us so we can set the standard, and so we've taken our draw, and we're going to turn it into a good situation for Georgia.
Literally, Justin, LSU had the luck of the draw. They will start in a very familiar event on the vault where they started every single regular season meet this year. LSU has wowed the country so far this year, although they have been hot and cold. They beat a #1 team, Alabama and Utah, but then fell to 2 lower-ranked teams. So depending on which team shows up mentally tonight will determine their success. It's also important for them to have a high energy and confident warm-up to set the pace for a competition that will probably be won by the last girl in the last event.
And don't forget about the Florida Gators, the #16 team in the country. They're competing here at home in the O'Connell Center, where they will have the crowd behind them the entire night. When we come back, we'll get things started. You're watching SEC TV's presentation of the 2000 SEC Gymnastics Championships. Welcome back to the SEC Gymnastics Championships in Gainesville, Florida. The defending champion Georgia Gym Dogs going for #5. There's a lot more on the line than pride.
Well, a lot of people say that it's not that important because it's just like a regular season competition and it doesn't affect what your seedings are in the national championships or even if you go to the national championships. But usually the people that say that are the people that don't win it. And I think that once you won a SEC championship, you realize very quickly how important it is. It is a postseason meet. You work all season for postseason championships, and this is as big as they come.
This is the way the meet sets up. The 6 conference squads competing for the title. 4 apparatus, vault, bars, beam, and floor. 6 rotations, 2 teams off every time through. The team championship and the all-around champion. 2 stories will be following closely tonight, but we are also going to crown 4 individual apparatus champions. In the first rotation, LSU on vault, Georgia on bars. Kentucky starts off on beam, we talked about, and Florida will have the crowd behind them immediately as they start out on the floor. Shannon McEachern leading off for LSU in what could be their biggest meet of the year.
You know, as a coach and as a team, we approach this as though it's the most important championship of our season. Trying to prepare for this through every dual meet and every practice up until this point, it's a goal.
The sophomore out of Canada on the very first vault of the competition.
Handspring front pike, very huge. Very nice.
So the Tigers get started off in a hurry, 9.75 on McEachern's first vault.
This vault is scored out of a 9.9. She does a very good job. Take a look at how tight her legs are in the pre-flight. She gets ample height and distance, just a tiny hop on the landing.
And the first of 2 as Shannon tries to better her score as Dee Dee Bro looks on.
She's going to increase the difficulty here, adding the half twist to the end of the flip. She does a nice job. Boy, they're happy. What a great way to start things off. Shannon has been a little bit inconsistent for them in practice and in competition, but when she's on, LSU can be very dangerous.
Now to the uneven bars, and Brooke Anderson of Georgia, the senior, in her last SEC championship.
Brooke is very clean on this event. Nothing huge, but very clean. We saw a giant full to a reverse hecht. Nice combination. must have at least 2 bar changes. We saw her go down to the low bar and then back up to the high bar. There's a big dismount planned here, a double layout. 2 saltos in a laid out position, and she hits her landing.
She's hit her last 19 routines, make it 20 as Brooke Anderson starts off the Gym Dogs with a 9.85 on the uneven bars in the very first rotation. Take a look at it one more time as Brooke Anderson trying to set the tone for Georgia.
There's her giant full. This is the reverse hex. A lot going on. She taps up, reverses the direction of her rotation, must sit up very aggressively to catch that high bar.
Now get ready to hear the crowd as the Gators are on the floor. People think they've got a chance in this meet, and every little bit's going to count.
I think that this meet is going to be so competitive that everything is going to count. To me, I don't think there's going to be one event that really is the standout. Now, after the meet, I may say everybody else fell off beam and this team didn't, that's why they won. But right at the outset, I would say that every tiny little thing is going to matter because it's that competitive. I mean, like .025 could determine who wins and who comes in third, you know, so I think that each event is going to be important. I think the team that hits, though, the most consistent and the cleanest team is going to win.
That's why the Gators have Hillary Thompson on the floor, the sophomore out of North Dakota.
This is a great event for Florida to start on. It's one of their best events. They can really let loose and get any of the jitters out early. Opening pass, a big double pike. Very well done. She has a big second pass planned as well. Round off back handspring, 2.5 twist, immediate punch front pike. A little short on that landing, but she covered it up nicely. There shouldn't be a big deduction.
This is Hillary's best event. Ranked 20th in the country, actually tied with her teammate, Chrissy Van Fleet.
She has been competing in the all-around this year after having surgery on her elbow. It enabled her to swing a little bit on bars, but this definitely is her event.
Oh, so important to set the tone for them. They can really start things off in a good way by getting in a high energy performance right here on the floor.
Absolutely. Hillary just loves this sport. It really comes out in her performance. She gives a lot of energy to this team. Round off back handspring, double full Shushinova. Nice combination. Very well done. Way to start things off.
Hillary Thompson on the floor for the Gators, has the crowd behind her, and a score of 9.80 for the Gators. A good start for Florida as they compete here at home. And now we move over to the balance beam and Mindy Smith for Kentucky.
Mindy is actually the last performer for Kentucky, and Kentucky's done a pretty good job so far, not counting a fall. This is their first event, and Florida's on the floor making a lot of noise. Tough to concentrate. Mindy throws a lot of difficulty in her jump combinations. We see a switch leap to a wolf jump. And another big jump, a straddle full, a little bit short on the twist. There's a requirement, her back handspring layout. You must show a tumble series of at least 2 flight elements.
Smith, the most consistent performer on the beam for the Wildcats, while they have her anchoring this apparatus.
A lot of pressure on this freshman. 2 more big jumps. She's getting plenty of bonus through her jump combinations. She's been pretty solid, not too many wobbles. Sousson back handspring quarter, right in handstand, showing us some strength moves there. A flanche, right down low on the beam. Here's some loud roars from the crowd behind you as Florida finishes up on their floor team. Could be a little lonely for Kentucky up on the balance beam. She must stay focused, though. With just a dismount left, she has a pretty good routine under her belt. She could get a big score. Very well done.
Just a freshman, but you won't be able to show it from that routine. 9.825 for Mindy Smith as the Cats get started in a big way on their first rotation. More of this first rotation when we return to Gainesville. It's the SEC Gymnastics Championships on SEC TV. It was just about 1 year ago Karen Litchie winning the SEC All-Around in Tuscaloosa at the '99 SEC Gymnastics Championships. She wins the All-Around, leads Georgia to the team title, also picks up SEC Female Athlete of the Year. And of course, she makes it to Gainesville to watch her little sister, Christy, along with her husband, Mike Ussery, as Christy gets set for her first performance on the uneven bars.
Nice hecht over mount, cast a handstand. Giant full, here comes her major release move by Ginger. Wow, a little bit far. That makes that move look more impressive, but it can be a little risky having that distance. So far, very clean, hitting all of her handstands. Catching some speed for her double layout and a solid landing.
Christy Litchie in her first performance of the night, a 9.875 for the Gym Dogs on the uneven bars. We'll take a look at it one more time as we see the rest of the team giving her a bit of congratulations.
We'll take a look at that Ginger. Look at the distance. She caught by her fingertips, but had plenty of swing out of it.
Over to the vault, and Carrie Descopoulos for the LSU Tigers. Out of Georgia, got away from Suzanne Yacklin.
Very strong event for her. She has so much power, almost too much on that landing.
Carrie's struggled a little bit with an injury earlier this season. Now is back in full fold of the competition. 9.725 on her first vault.
She had plenty of height and plenty of distance. She just looked like she was being a little bit careful to make sure that she didn't come in short. Justin, last year at the SEC Championships, this is the event LSU was almost too aggressive on. They were really trying to get after their landings and coming in short. And she nails the landing. She went after it on the second vault. A little conservative on the first one, and she did a great job. LSU was looking fantastic tonight.
But the aggressiveness on the second vault gets her a 9.850, and LSU has really started off strong. Now remember, just a few weeks ago, Kathleen Shreves on the vault against Alabama.
Oh, that is so tough to watch.
Hyperextended knees kept her out of competition until now. The only event she'll be competing on, the uneven bars.
Luckily, this is one of her best events, and Georgia needs her big score here. She's been working hard, very hard all week, rehabbing that knee to try and get it strong enough to take a dismount landing off this event. Beautiful combination work there. Some Healy turns right up into handstand, into her major release move here. So far, so good. Wow, right on top in handstand there, almost too far. This event could be tough in that she has to squeeze her legs tight, and that could cause some pain in her knee. And of course, her dismount landing. She watered down the dismount. Very safe landing, very good job. They really needed that score.
9.875, and Lori, this could be a big emotional boost for the Gym Dogs.
Oh, absolutely. When your top bar worker goes out, it is tough to come back. She certainly did the job. She stuck there in the lineup. She did water down the dismount, but it should not affect her score. She normally adds a full twist to the dismount. Instead, she only did a double salto. With a look of confidence on the landing, her experience shone through at the right time.
And back to the floor, where you will certainly hear the home crowd for the All-American Chrissy Van Fleet competing for the last time in the O'Connell Center.
The home crowd really adores Chrissy. She is a tremendous performer with a great attitude. She has so much fun. And this floor routine is extraordinary. She is so intense. Here we go with an opening pass, big one. Whip to double tuck. She just drops out of the air into her landing. She knows exactly where the floor is every time. And another double salto in a piked position. Another solid landing.
Certainly will be one of the gymnasts remembered for being one of the greatest of all time. Certainly in Florida, a 9-time All-American. Only Georgia has more All-American honors than Chrissy Van Fleet.
Outstanding. What I really like about her floor routine is that it's so dramatic, so intense, and she makes very good use of the floor. You see her coming in one direction and immediately turn around to the other direction. It's hard to anticipate where she's going.
And the gator chomp that you will see in all the Florida floor routines, making sure the crowd knows exactly which side they're on.
You have to have team spirit. Here we go, last pass. She's so intense. Front full. Very well done. Way to cap things off for the Gators on the floor exercise. A tremendous event for them.
Chrissy Van Fleet, 9.9 for Florida. Here as they finish off their first rotation, and a good start for the Florida Gators. They certainly have the crowd behind them as they have really rolled things off to the start. Let's take a look at that first rotation. LSU with a good start, and Georgia with their 49.25 on the bars. But remember, Alabama and Auburn have yet to compete. They'll be coming up next. The Gym Dogs have posted their score. Alabama, we'll see what they can do when we come back. Welcome back to the O'Connell Center in Gainesville, Florida. The Georgia Gym Dogs are beaming as they head to the second rotation. And we get our first look at the Alabama Crimson Tide. They had a bye in the first rotation, but Alabama will be on bars in the second time through. Florida moves to the vault, Georgia on beam, and Auburn on the floor.
This is Alabama's best event. They saw what Georgia scored, and now they have to better it.
Natalie Barrington, the sophomore out of Canada, will be up first.
This is one of their best bar performers. She's so clean with very unique elements. Giant full into a mixed grip. Take a look at her hand position. Very difficult. Right into a pack salto, a little bit close. She manages well. All of these teams have been working hard all week on the little things, hitting the handstands, sticking the landings. Particularly, we saw Natalie working very hard on her dismount landing yesterday, trying over and over again to stick it. And she does it. It paid off. Once again, hard work really pays off.
Barrington, a 9.9. She's been an all-arounder at certain times this season, but this is her only event competing at the SEC Championships. And Sarah Patterson says, way to go. What a way to start off.
She seems to be overcome with emotion there, getting lots of hugs from her teammates. They're so proud. That release of emotion could be a sign of the pressure that is put on these girls at such a big meet as the SEC Championships. She did the job. She came through for her team, and a very unique bar team that was well executed.
Certainly a 9.9 takes the pressure off some of the gymnasts to come after her. Now we move over to the floor, and the Auburn Tigers, and the new leader for the Tigers, Sally Cantrell, a junior out of Tampa, Florida.
Up like handspring, 2.5 twist. Almost out of bounds, a little bit of a deduction there on the landing. Talk about pressure. The pressure is on this athlete. Now that Sarah Wentworth is out, she really needs to step it up on all 4 events and post some big scores.
Cantrell hoping to become one of the top all-arounders here at the SEC Championships, and certainly heading into her senior season coming up next year.
She's very capable. Nice jumps in combination. She will receive some bonus points there. Just like the balance beam, you start from a 9.5 on this exercise and must gain bonus points through difficult skills and through combination work.
Certainly her confidence and ability has risen in the last few weeks. She never scored over 39 until a meet against Ball State, and since then she hasn't dropped below that mark.
Sometimes it takes to a senior year to build the confidence it takes to be a premier gymnast.
And that performance can build confidence heading into this event. 9.775 for Sally Cantrell and the Auburn Tigers. And we move to the beam. And Cassie Bear, the freshman out of Evans, Georgia, working on the beam for the first time at an SEC championship.
Showing some strength and flexibility right off the start of her routine. Very well done. Cassie's done a great job for Georgia on this event. She is a freshman, and there's a lot of pressure on her. She needs to hit this event. They've already had 1 fall, but only 5 routines count, 5 scores count for the team.
And if Georgia has a weakness, it's certainly in the inexperience and the lack of depth, and it certainly shows in this event.
Back handspring layout, a little smile on her face. She knew she was on. That's one thing about Cassie. She does not allow mistakes. She's so aggressive, and she catches them before they become big ones. Beautiful ring jump there. She looks confident. Nice jumps there, a swish leap, straddle, straddle. One of the issues Suzanne Yoklin, head coach, had with this team was she was uncertain what to expect from them. There are 4 girls competing who have never competed in postseason competition in a championship meet like this. So the pressure is on them, and Cassie does a great job.
9.825, just what she's been doing this entire second half of the season. A big step up from the first half of the year.
That is big when you can count on a freshman for a big, solid score like that on the balance beam.
Now to one of the top all-arounders in all the country, Andrea Pickens. Remember this, just a few weeks ago, a hyperextended knee and back on the vault against Georgia.
Boy, oh boy, that was a tough night for her. That was first event, and she came back for a spectacular bar performance, scoring a 10 on this event. A huge comeback.
Amazing leadership for just a sophomore. She did so well all last year, struggled a little bit in the postseason, but she's certainly expecting to do better here in Gainesville and on into the national championships in Boise, Idaho. Just a sophomore, but really the squad's leader on and off the floor.
I think it's, let my team as a whole, a lot of people have stepped up into that position where we know that we have everybody doing every event as they could, and it's just made our depth more. And, we've had some injuries this year, and it's just shown that, we have a team and we've got depth everywhere, and it's going to be hard to beat us.
The bars where she scored that 10 against Georgia, that's where she will start on this event for the Crimson Tide.
Andrea's success and the success of her team really has built her confidence, and you can see it in her gymnastics. Big mount there, that's called a Shaposhnikova, and she'll go right back up to the high bar for another huge skill, a Hindorf. This bar team is full of difficulty. Reverse hecht. Her third major release move, back down to the low bar for a straddle back right in handstand. She is right on tonight again. Uprise 2 handstand. Wow, that was close one. There's a fine line between good and excellent, and she was excellent.
The only event that Sarah Patterson has allowed Andrea Pickens to compete in every meet, and it certainly shows here a 9.925 for the Crimson Tide and Andrea Pickens. Alabama comes out hitting on all cylinders, putting up big numbers in their very first rotation. Can they keep it up? We'll find out when we come back to Gainesville. Just a few months ago, Sarah Wentworth of Auburn hoping to make her senior season oh so special, but an injury just last week has made this meet a little bittersweet for her and the Tigers.
Bittersweet in the sense that Sarah Wentworth isn't going to get to cap off a great career. The girl competed in all-around in every meet her junior year, which is unheard of. She had competed in the all-around in every meet this year, right up till the point where she got hurt. Ironically enough, on Friday night before she got hurt, she broke the school record in the all-around, and on Sunday, we did uneven bars first. She was our last bar competitor, and she achieved her lifelong goal of scoring a perfect 10. And how cruel it was that within, 5 minutes later, she's out for her career, basically.
Justin, this is a nightmare for any athlete, but Sarah's been the epitome of a team player. Just a few weeks ago, she came down with a severe ear infection. The doctor said, no way can you fly unless we put tubes in your ear. She said, do it. Then traveled to Ball State and had the best all-around performance of her career.
So the senior all-arounder gives way to the freshman all-arounder, Mary Nell Pate, on the floor for the Tigers.
Boy, Auburn's just full of great stories. Mary Nell is a great story in that she walked on here and earned a scholarship this fall. There was a scholarship up for grabs. The coaching staff said, work hard and it's yours, and she earned it. Double pike, nice solid opening pass.
such dedication in a sport like this. Leaving high school out of Columbus, Georgia, moving to Orlando so that she can compete and make it to the SEC level.
It's called a Rudy. That's a front handspring front layout with a 1.5 twist. Having a little fun out there. That's the point of competition, is to have a good time.
We certainly will hear plenty of Ricky Martin when floor routines are considered during the SEC Championships.
That's the big song for the year. Take a deep breath, heading into her last pass. Handspring front full, front tuck, and a solid routine for the Auburn Tigers.
Mary Nell Pate on the floor for the Tigers, 9.85 in her very first SEC Championships.
And a sweet one at that. That is a big score, and Auburn needs all the scores they can get.
So we move back to the bars, and Dara Stewart, the Alabama girl, competing for her home state squad.
Dara is a very elegant gymnast, and it shows up on this event. Nice pretty lines, nice long legs, and it adds to the effect. Some nice combination work there. She'll head back down to the low bar, straddle back right in handstand. Almost a mistake there, but she covered up nicely. There shouldn't be a deduction. She's competing a more difficult dismount this year. A double layout and a great landing. They are pumped.
She hasn't been below 9.85 on the bars for about 10 meets, and here a 9.9 in Alabama just rolls right along in their very first rotation after taking the bye to start things off. Now we move to the vault for Florida and Chrissy Van Fleet.
Chrissy's just a bundle of energy. We saw her on the floor exercise doing a very intense floor routine. Now this is a great event for her as well. Handspring front pike with a half, scored out of a 10 with a big step on the landing. They're really going to need to get those landings to get the high scores.
9.775 for Van Fleet on her first of 2 vaults here in the second rotation.
She really gets a tremendous amount of heel drive coming over, and that creates rotation almost a little too much. If she sends her direction up off the horse, she might be able to find that landing just a little better. Let's see if she can get it this turn. Almost a little bit short. Looked like she was being conservative, really trying to get that landing.
But the smiles all around. Chrissy Van Fleet always with a smile on her face. Her second vault worth 9.8 for the Florida Gators.
0.025 better than the first vault, and that came on this landing. Almost a stuck landing, just a little short with the chest down.
Christy Litchie will be on the beam next for the Georgia Gym Dogs. Oh, and she's pretty good when it comes to this apparatus.
Oh, she's tremendous. She is just, as Suzanne puts it, cool as a cucumber, and that really helps on this event to stay calm and focused. Big tumbling pass plan, back handspring layout. That's a B connected to 2 D-level skills. The most difficult skill in gymnastics is an E-level skill. 2 big jumps, a straddle half in combination. She gets some great bonus there. Beam is a tough event to compete, and this is so important for Georgia. They need to hit this event to stay in the running.
Christy started off the season so strong, has tapered off a little bit, but she has also rested. Suzanne's had her resting so she can get ready for the postseason.
The last thing you need is to burn out your top athletes or to have them injured from too much pounding and too much competition. She always winks to the judge right there on that low pose. Front full dismount and a solid routine. That was fantastic.
Showmanship always a big part of gymnastics. Every little bit helps. 9.925 for Christy Litchie on the balance beam. So Georgia answers the Alabama challenge with Christy Litchie's performance anchoring the beam for the Gym Dogs. We'll take a look at the second rotation scores. Alabama and Georgia right there at the top. The Crimson Tide coming off their third best score of the season on the uneven bars. The Gym Dogs, well, they did not struggle at all, even considering the fact they were right in front of the entire Alabama contingent. We'll have the third rotation when we come back to Gainesville. Welcome back to Gainesville, where the Auburn Tigers march on over to the vault for their third rotation as they are just coming off the floor exercise. We take a look at the third rotation. LSU on bars, Alabama the beam, and Kentucky will be on the floor exercise as Georgia and Florida take a bit of a rest. And on the vault, Jeff Thompson deciding to go with his most experienced gymnast on the runway first, Sally Cantrell, the junior all-arounder.
Sally is not a power athlete, so she'll be performing a different style vault. The twisting vault, a handspring, double full. It is so difficult to land that vault, and we saw there with the big step to the side.
Her score coming up, first vault, 9.725. Is there more pressure on a gymnast when you have to be thrown into the leadership role?
There is definitely pressure on that first up athlete. It sets the tone, and you really want to hit it so that you don't put pressure on the rest of the girls where they have to hit every single time.
So one more try for Sally Cantrell.
Same vault, she'll really try and get the landing here. About the same, just that step to the side. It's so important to get a good strong block off without too much rotation to have enough time to finish 2 twists before the landing.
9.80 on the second vault as we move over to the uneven bars and Shannon McEachern for LSU.
Shannon has struggled all year long with a chronic shoulder injury. It's been very difficult for her to train on this event, especially her release move, which will be coming up right here. Quite often they leave that one right there out in practice and try to do all the other elements. She did pretty good here tonight. She head down to the low bar with a pack salto and a pirouette on the low bar. A little short on that handstand. Big swing into her dismount, a double layout, and a pretty good landing. That is a big routine for LSU.
Only her third time on the bars this entire season, and a season high 9.85 for Shannon McEachern in LSU, and they're really making a name for themselves in this competition. It's not just Georgia and Alabama anymore.
Because of the twisting in this ginger here, it put a lot of stress on her shoulder, and she was unable to do a lot of numbers in practice.
We've seen plenty of youngsters. Here's one for Alabama, Kristen Sterner, a freshman on the balance beam.
Alabama has told us all year how good she is, but she really hasn't proved it until recently when they've been able to put her in this all-around lineup, and she's been doing fantastic. Back handspring layout with a solid landing. She doesn't seem to be feeling any pressure whatsoever. Sometimes as a freshman, you're naive to what the pressure really is. You really don't understand the significance of the SEC Championships.
So ignorance is bliss, basically.
Absolutely.
We expect Sterner to be an all-arounder, but she hasn't had much experience on the beam. Luckily, she has that crowd right next to her. That's where all the Alabama fans are, just feet from the balance beam.
Certainly will make them feel at home. Wolf jump, standing back pike, very solid. You heard the boom of the beam. Round off, full twist dismount. She can actually perform a double back, but they've watered things down to make sure that she gets a nice solid routine and a very good score.
The future is bright for Alabama gymnastics. Kristen Sterner with a 9.875 on the beam.
This is where you're the most nervous in your beam routine heading into that tumble series. 3 elements connected in a row, so tough.
Back to the uneven bars, and Beth Boudreau for LSU out of Dutchtown.
She swings this event beautifully. Giant full right on top. Here comes the reverse heck. You see assistant coach Larissa Libby standing on a block behind her, ready to tap her just in case she goes a little too far and is about to hit that low bar. Beautiful uprise half, front giant, nice combination. Immediately into her dismount with a great landing.
The sophomore ranked number 24 in the country. The 4th time this year she has scored 9-9 or better, and that has the Tigers just ecstatic about the way they've been performing in Gainesville.
We said a key would be confidence and energy, and they have it. LSU is making a run for the title.
Back in Gainesville, the LSU Tigers making a run at the title. We talked earlier about how much experience this squad has, 7 seniors. This would be a tremendous way to finish out their career.
It'll mean a lot. I mean, because we've been together. You know, we went in as freshmen all together, and we made it our whole way through. I mean, which is really abnormal too in gymnastics. A lot of people get hurt, drop out, and stuff like that. So we're really close, and I think having all the memories together in every SEC that we've been to, this one will really mean a lot to us.
I really believe that LSU is a better place because Abby came to LSU. She's a friend. She's just a super. She's a little girl, and she's a young lady. She's an amazing student athlete. She competes and she trains with the same vivacious, energetic enthusiasm today as she did the first day she got on campus her freshman year. I mean, she has not wavered in her enthusiasm. She has not faltered in her mission. It's just been a remarkable experience to be with her and to be able to coach her.
Boy, and Lori, that is high praise from a coach in the SEC.
Abby has played a tremendous role on this team, and this is the night she needs to lead her team to that title. Beautiful bar team going on so far. We saw a pike jigger and E-level skill, some good combination work. And now a big dismount, more difficulty planned right here. Full twisting double layout with a great landing. She gets the job done for the LSU Tigers. Incredible, a 9.9.
8th last year in this event at the SEC Championships in Tuscaloosa. Hoping to improve that as well as maybe pick up a team title along the way. That would be the biggest title of them all.
Dee Dee spoke of her intensity in practice, and it shows up here on the competition floor. Practice is so important.
Well, if the Tigers are going to make a run, they've got to get past this team and their captain, Lissy Smith, on the beam for Alabama.
Alabama has proven solid on this event throughout the season, and this is one of their best beam performers. Big difficulty planned here. Back handspring, layout, layout. Landing on one leg up into a pose, she covered nicely. Probably no deduction there. In college gymnastics, there's a fine line between choosing to do the difficulty or the safe elements. Every routine can only be scored out of a 10 whether or not you do all the difficulty in the world or just the minimum amount. They chose to throw some difficulty in Lissy's routine because she's so consistent. Standing layout to a wolf jump. Beautiful gym acro combination there. Round off double full dismount. A little stumble on that landing, but what a great routine.
Talk about consistency, a 9.875. Only one missed routine on the beam all year long for Lissy Smith, and the captain has the tide rolling along. To the floor, and Mila Chitwood for Kentucky.
Speaking of top performers, Mila is one of Kentucky's top performers on this event. She really is a floor specialist, opening with a huge double tuck. She is their last performer on this event, and they're hoping to build on the scores.
Their average so far this season, just above 9.8 on this event.
For handspring fly spring, a big Rudy. Front layout with a 1.5 twist. Very nice combination.
Chitwood, not only one of the top gymnasts on the squad, one of the top athletes at Kentucky, being named to the Frank Ham Society of Character just a few months ago, one of the top honors a Kentucky student can earn.
The nice thing about college athletics is there's so many areas that you can excel in the classroom, as a leader on the team, in your gymnastics and athletics. There's really room for every type of athlete. Front handspring, front layout, front pike, finishing off this routine very well. A big cat growl at the end of a tremendous performance for the Gym Cats.
9.85 for Mila Chitwood. You talk about the athleticism, the academics. I don't really have time to do anything else besides just practice, but boy, Mila was certainly able to put it together in this routine.
Mila gets incredible height in her tumbling. Here's her opening pass again. Great height, saw the landing for a good, solid routine.
The Crimson Tide trying to continue to roll along in this event, and here is their best on this apparatus. Andrea Pickens on the beam.
She is the country's best. Last year, she was the NC2A National Beam Champion. Your music in the background, that is coming from someone's floor exercise routine. You don't do balance beam to music. Back handspring, layout. Little off on the landing, but she recovered nicely. Result of any error can be so detrimental on this event. If you're off by 1 inch, it loses you the championships.
Last year at these championships, Pickens struggled a little bit. Maybe because she's a little worn out from the season, a little beat up. But she started off strong on the bars with a 9.925. Just the way Sarah Patterson wants her squad to start.
I really have seen the confidence build in Andrea. It's really showing up in her performance. These girls do a tremendous amount of numbers on this event, and especially high pressure situations in the gym, but nothing simulates a pressure situation like competition. She's had a lot of experience since being at Alabama. Big dismount here, an E-level dismount, round up double tuck, and she hits the landing. Outstanding.
She struggled on the beam the last couple of weeks, but this has got to be a big motivator. A 9.90 for Pickens, and the Crimson Tide and their fans know that there's something special on the horizon if they can keep this up.
Whenever you can hit the balance beam event, it really adds some confidence. You can just keep on rolling.
Halfway through the competition here in Gainesville, Florida, we take a look at the third rotation scores. Alabama with a 49.30, one of the top scores of the year for the Crimson Tide, actually their second highest of the year, and they know how exciting it could be if they could keep this up. We're coming back. Abby Burns leads the LSU Tigers through the fourth rotation to the balance beam as we are halfway through here at the SEC Gymnastics Championships at the O'Connell Center on the campus of the University of Florida. Let's take a look at the scores through 3 rotations. Alabama leading by a couple of tenths over the Georgia Gym Dogs, and LSU sneaking right up, tied with Georgia. And Florida's not far behind. They will be on bars, Kentucky on vault, LSU on beam, and Georgia on floor. And Alabama finding an interesting way to pass the time. The secret word, SEC Championship.
Alabama is really a team that is internally motivated. They're not really concerned with what their competitors are doing. They know that if they get their job done, then the reward will be at the end of the tunnel.
And Sarah Patterson has interesting things to say about handling the bye, something that you don't deal with week in and week out.
I think if the meet is really close, I think it is advantageous to be on the floor the last event. Obviously, if one team is far superior than another or the rest of the field, you know, it doesn't hurt you to be on a bye. I do feel like this is going to be a closely contested championship.
While the Crimson Tide is inside playing its games in the locker room, Abby Burns is taking care of business on the balance beam.
This is a key event for LSU. They can be great here, but this is such a mental event, and that is where they've struggled in the past. Abby has shown some great maturity and consistency. See what she does here, back handspring layout. just a little off, but she pulled it right up on top.
Abby had to deal with a lot of nagging injuries early in the season. You wonder if she's rested because of that.
They did rest her through the entire first half of the season. She just recently got back into the all-around lineup, and she's definitely taking care of business, like you said. Wolf jump at handspring quarter. That's a gym acro where you do a gymnastics element connected with an acrobatic element. That is a requirement. That is also a requirement, a full turn, and she did it clean. Sheet jump, very difficult jump. You throw your head back and you lose sight of the beam for an instant. It's very focused. The crowd is loud, the music is playing. She needs to be determined here with the dismount, round up double full, and a beautiful landing.
Abby Burns, a heck of a way to finish up the balance beam routine with a solid stick on the dismount, 9.825 for Burns. Georgia is over on the floor, and Christy Litchie in the middle of the lineup where they have one of their better performers.
Well, with Georgia, they have a tremendous floor team, and it's so tough to even pick the lineup. Like handspring double pike, beautiful height, drops nicely into the landing. A little more Ricky Martin for the audience. Into her second tumbling pass, another double salto in a tucked position.
Well, you know how good a competitor is like this when you average a 9-9 over an entire season, just what Christy Litchie has done this year.
She is truly talented and very athletic. You see that in the height of her tumbling. Christy had surgery on her elbow. They took a very large bone spur out. Now she's feeling much better. Big last pass, 3 saltos, whip half, front layup. Oh! Boy, her timing was off. She really missed that punch into the third salto.
When was the last time we saw Christy Litchie take a fall on the floor exercise?
I don't remember. Boy, that's a big mistake. That's a tough break. It shouldn't be an endurance problem at this point in the season. Maybe a little bit of timing, maybe a little concentration. And
right in the spot when they had a chance to make a move on Alabama, that 9.35 is certainly going to hurt the Gym Dog.
You saw assistant coach Doug McGavin talking about drawing her hips a little early right there, missing the block. She needed to keep her hips traveling forward into that punch.
So over to the vault and the Kentucky Gym Cats and a freshman you'll hear plenty of over the coming years, Julia Gore.
Strong event for her, very powerful, handspring front pike. A little stiff on the landing, and she bounced out of it.
Gore, 9.75 on her first vault, but she gets a few pointers before heading right back down the runway. We'll take a look at it again.
We saw assistant coach Hajil Mohammed emphasizing the importance of bending your knees, getting your arms out, and absorbing the landing.
How will Gore adjust to that on her second trip down the runway? We'll see.
This year she's been competing the handspring front tuck with a half. She changed it to the pike, and she gets the second landing.
A lot better the second time, a score of 9.825 that will count for the Gym Cats.
It's pretty good. That vault is scored out of a 9.9, the highest possible score you can get, and she got the job done.
More from Gainesville when we return to the SEC Gymnastics Championships. The SEC Gymnastics Championships continue in Gainesville, Florida, and Stacy Wagner is on the beam for the LSU Tigers, the senior out of Marrero, Louisiana, with a heck of a start. Nice way to start things off.
Very unique mount. LSU's been getting things done, definitely. They've been strong on this event as well, and that is so important. Back handspring, layout. Very solid, but came up for a very slight wobble. Switch leap, straddle jump to a straight jump. They're required to have 2 jumps in combination. Quite often they will do 3 to gain extra bonus points. Again, we're looking for 5/10 in bonus. Wolf jump back handspring quarter, very nicely in handstand.
A beam All-American last year, finished 7th at this meet last season in Tuscaloosa. Right now, I think the Tigers thinking more about that team title that's ever so close, more so than the individual championship.
Oh, absolutely. The team title is the most important thing on every athlete's mind. They would give up any all-around, any event title to have that team championship. Back handspring, full twist, and a great routine, big smiles.
9.85 for Stacy Wagner and the LSU Tigers, right where she's competed all season long, her 7th time at 9.85 or better. Over to the floor in the Georgia Gym Dogs and Talia Vexler.
This has been a strong event for Talia. Opening with a whip to a double tuck. Bouncing right up into her lunge position, very solid. You have a big conference meet like this, it's so interesting to see all the different styles of dance and gymnastics elements throughout the entire meet. Whip half, front layout half, into a sky-high layout, step out. I love that pass. She accents that last salto with incredible height.
Pass like that shows why she's the number 8 floor performer in all the United States.
Talia actually had a rod inserted into her leg last year to help support shin splints. She's recovering very nicely.
The only problem she has is going through metal detectors at the airport, from what I hear.
Taking a deep breath for that last pass. This is so difficult, endurance-wise, and a big double pike, a D-level skill to finish off the routine.
Talia Vexler from Amherst, Massachusetts, puts the Gym Dogs right where they want to be, a 9.90 on her floor routine as she gets the hug from Suzanne Yakulin.
Boy, you can feel the energy in this arena. Things are definitely heating up.
Trying to make a run with Alabama in the locker room. Chrissy Van Fleet on the bars.
Home crowd favorite here, doing a huge pike Jaeger, one of the best in the country right there. Back up to the high bar, an uprise to handstand. So strong on this event. Swinging very intensely. Double layout, small hop on the landing, but a very tight, very good routine.
9-9, her second 9-9 of the night. She also had one on the floor routine, and she gets a hug from Judy Markell, her head coach. Chrissy Van Fleet rounding out her career here at the University of Florida. She's got one more event at the O'Connell Center, but that's the next rotation. More of this rotation coming up. Welcome back to the 2000 SEC Gymnastics Championships at the O'Connell Center in Gainesville, Florida. On the vault runway for the University of Kentucky, Kristen Hefferlin, the senior, leading her squad, one of the best vaulters on this GymCat squad.
Handspring front pike with a half, that's scored out of a 10, but a big deduction on the landing.
We get to talk to Chrissy before this meet. 9.775 on her first vault. She's a little bit sad, her last competition with her team, at least, as a Kentucky GymCat.
It's tough being on this Kentucky team and not knowing exactly how far you're going to continue in the season, heading to regionals and hoping to qualify to the nationals. She'll perform the same vault and try to get that landing. They need every 10th. Wow, much better. She had some great height. You saw the mat has been pushed very far back down the landing area.
9.85 on her second vault. She'll take that. You can see a bit of a frown. Her last vault with her team. She does have one more rotation to go. We go to the beam, the balance beam, and Rebecca Leitze, who likes a dramatic start to her beam routine.
Certainly unique elements add to scores. This is a big night for Rebecca. She is a freshman walk-on at LSU and a tremendous beam performer. But the pressure's on her. She's last up, and they need a hit routine.
Certainly experience is not on her side like it is the other LSU gymnasts. Only her 6th meet to compete in this entire year.
Back handspring layout, solid right on top. She's a quiet athlete. Don't hear her speak very often, but her performance tells enough.
She can certainly perform against the big competitors. Against Georgia, one of the top 3 teams in the country, her career high, 9.9 on this event. So she is used to the pressure.
And that was a great night for her because she was performing in Georgia in front of a lot of her hometown friends and former teammates. And so far, so good. She is doing a tremendous job. Teammates are yelling very loudly on the side, and she gets a hit for them.
Rebecca Leite, 9.875, hugs all around.
Assistant coach Larissa Libby telling her she is the best, and she did a great job. The team is so proud of her. It all came down to right here, the back handspring layout. She had to hit it, and she was so square.
This is one of the most exciting floor performers you will find anywhere in the country, Georgia's Suzanne Sears.
Suzanne is known throughout the country for her opening pass. It's just outstanding. Very athletic, very difficult combination. I think they should name it after her. Here we go, big concentration. Round off back handspring, double tuck, punch front, and it doesn't stop. More, round off back handspring, double full punch front, and a split jump. Whew.
And that kind of energy just has to show the judges what kind of power that she has, and it carries on throughout the entire event.
That gets the team's adrenaline flowing and the crowds. They just love her. And check out these jumps. Huge split jumps. The judge is looking for a 180-degree split at the peak of the jump, and she goes above and beyond that.
For once, she actually has to slow down on the mat and catch her breath.
A well-needed break. Suzanne has only rested once on this event this year. And that's at an away meet. The crowd loves her so much at home, they wouldn't dare pull her out of the lineup. And another big pass, round back handspring, double pike, and she nails it. Absolutely outstanding. This girl can tumble.
She can shoot them down. Suzanne Sears from the University of Georgia gets a big hug from Suzanne Yacklin. Another top performance as the Gym Dogs trying to fight back for first place, trying to take it away from Alabama, and a performance like this can get it done.
Many other coaches wouldn't dare put a difficult pass in the floor team as this one, but she has the athletic ability to pull it off. She is the best tumbler in the nation.
And you know exactly what the crowds are cheering for after a performance like that. Oh, they want a 10.
And the Gym Dog crowd that follows them everywhere knows what a 10 performance takes. They didn't quite get it.
9.95 for Suzanne Sears on that performance. Now we look at the 4th rotation scores. Georgia with that 49.3, as strong as they've ever been on the floor. LSU, impressive on the beam, 49.175. Who will pass who in the 5th rotation? It's a 3-way shootout when we come back. Back at the SEC Gymnastics Championships, Alabama possibly marching for an SEC title. But they've got plenty of teams chasing them. We take a look at the 5th rotation. Georgia on the vault, Alabama on the floor, LSU with the bye this time through. And competing on the vault for the Gym Dogs, Brooke Anderson.
Brooke will be competing the handspring front pike with a half, scored out of a 10. Oh, incredible. That is one of the best vaults I've seen her do all year.
First vault for Anderson at 9.85.
She has an interesting technique in her blocking style. Take a look at her hands right here, turned out but it gives her incredible height, and she just dropped into her landing.
At 9.85, right around her average, one of the top vaulters in all the country, ranked number 19.
Let's see if she can improve on it. It was a tough job. She did take a step on that landing. The first vault was probably the better of the two.
And the 9.85 is what they will go with for Georgia on the vault. And to the floor, the University of Alabama and Reagan Tomasek, the sophomore out of New York. And this is a time we get to hear just exactly what Sarah Patterson thinks about Tomasek's performance on the floor.
Like handspring, double pike. Yeah! I think she was pleased with this. Yes! You got it, Reagan! Boy, this team is energized. They are pumping each other up. They are so into this performance tonight. They're doing a great job. Sweet home Alabama really gets them riled up.
Sarah Patterson making sure Tomasek is prepared for this event, the only event that she's competed in every meet so far this season.
One thing I like about Reagan is she's very athletic in her tumbling, gets great height on all of her tumbling elements, but she's also elegant in her dance and her jumps. Great combination and something the judges are looking for and scores high. Some pretty jumps there.
Yeah, that's it.
Alabama team can feel the momentum building. Handspring front layout, front tuck. Wow, what a fantastic, superb routine.
From top to bottom, the Alabama Crimson Tide is getting it done. Reagan Tomasek, 9.875.
The popas were awesome. Awesome job.
She's talking about her jumps there. It's called a popa, and in order to get full bonus, you must complete each full twisting jump all the way around.
To the balance beam, and Teal Shaboti for Florida.
Very interesting mount, 2 straddle jumps in connection. Switch leap to a switch side. Handspring layout. Solid. You saw a little bit of a flex toe, though, in the air. Just small deductions.
Teal, a competitor that really came out quick on the blocks her freshman year here at Florida, finishing 5th at NCAA Regionals.
Florida has struggled this year with depth. A lot of the girls have been forced to step it up, and Teal has done a great job this year.
When you lose competitors like Marianne Esposito and Suzanne Hines, who's a 2-time NCAA champion, compete with only 9 gymnasts, boy, it makes it rough.
You know, it really brings the team together. The cohesion is just incredible on this Florida team. Sometimes adversity can be somewhat of a bonding experience. Front full dismount. Okay, a great routine from Teal.
Shaboti with the hug from Judy Markell, her coach, and 9.80 as the Florida Gators continue to impress despite all the injuries they've had to go through. We'll have more of the 5th rotation when we come back to Gainesville. The SEC Gymnastics Championships continue, and if there's a definition of a power gymnast, it might be Suzanne Sears on vault for Georgia.
The forte is the floor and, of course, the vault. Boy, that was a tough vault there. A handspring front pike with a half, scored out of a 10. It was a little bit flat, lacking rotation. She had to bend her knees to create some more rotation.
9.75 on her first vault for Suzanne Sears.
She can score higher than that.
Actually a better vaulter than she is on the floor as far as average goes, a little bit higher, but she's known for her floor routines.
She needs to get good direction off the horse, a little bit better, but still a tough landing.
9.85 for Suzanne Sears. Remember, this is Georgia's last event, whereas Alabama still has 2 to go, and Kristen Sterner is on the floor.
Kristen is also a very strong tumbler for Alabama. Front handspring, Rudy back layout, beautifully done. she can actually do a double twisting front layout. We're still working on that and trying to get it consistent.
Just a freshman, as we told you, out of Ionia, Michigan. Stolen away from the University of Michigan. Now the #1 team in the country as far as the rankings go. But certainly you don't take a step down when you come to Alabama.
Kristen is one of the athletes they've rested throughout the season to save her ankle. Somewhat of a secret weapon they've had in their back pocket. It's called a Popa Nova. We see a Shushanova and a Popa, and that's a combination of the two, a full twisting Shushanova. A lot of these elements that I talk about have been named after former athletes or even current athletes around the world. Big last pass, a double pike, very difficult.
Woo, yeah!
A great routine. It sounds like Sarah's pleased.
Awesome job! Awesome! That was great. Great landing.
9.875 for Kristen Sterner. And look at her teammates behind her. They know how well this meet is going for the Crimson Tide. To the uneven bars, and Sally Cantrell for Auburn.
We spoke about some power gymnasts. This is a finesse gymnast. Very clean lines, very precise in everything she does.
And you can really tell by just looking at them what type of gymnast they are.
She's increased her difficulty on this event, adding a Healy turn right here, back up to the high bar. Doing a good job immediately into her dismount and a solid landing. She is doing a great job for the Tigers tonight.
The Tigers struggled a little bit tonight in this SEC Championships, but Sally Cantrell has been as strong as ever with a 9.80 on the uneven bars. When we come back, we'll have more of the fifth rotation as we return to the 2000 SEC Gymnastics Championships. One last event for Chrissy Van Fleet at the O'Connell Center in Gainesville. She's had a career that's almost been unmatched at the University of Florida.
She's a great person. I mean, she's so much fun to be around. And she brings that enthusiasm to the gym every day. Like, you ask her what she's going to do next, and she's like, I want to join the circus. You know, and I mean, that's the way she is. She thinks of this like kind of like a circus. It's a performance art. She loves it. She loves doing it. She loves the challenge of it. And this year in particular, she's really come into her own as a leader on the team. She's got such a great personality. She's so much fun. And she brings that enthusiasm to the gym every day. And so the rest of the kids have kind of gotten that from her because she's the only senior that's competing. They think that's the way to do it. They don't realize that, other people aren't as much fun, and other teams don't have as much fun. So they are terrifically motivated by her attitude and her significance. Her impact is really difficult to put into words, but she has changed everybody's outlook almost by herself, and that's amazing.
And Lori, it's almost appropriate that her career ends right here on the beam where she was SEC champion last year.
She's doing a great job here. Judy says she is a little wild. You never know what she's going to do next. But when she performs, she gets serious.
And she wasn't kidding about the circus. She's talked about joining Cirque du Soleil after her career is over with.
Many gymnasts are taking that route now. It's a lot of fun. The performance factor is such a huge part of their lives and their careers that when it's all gone, there's definitely a void. So more and more gymnasts are finding ways to extend their career. I think we need a professional league. Oh, a big dismount, an E-level double back. She nailed that routine. Maybe good enough for another SEC beam win.
9.825 and a smile that beams throughout the Sunshine State as Chrissy Van Fleet rounds out her career here in Gainesville. Now Christy Litchie still has another year to go after this one, and she plans on winning another SEC title.
Handspring front pike with a half. A little squatty on the landing. She had to take a small step to the side. She's just a tremendous vaulter.
9.825 on her first vault. Suzanne Yacklin walks her right back down the runway.
Take a look at her direction here. Just a small step to the side right there on the landing. It's coming down to the line for the Gym Dogs. They need every tenth they can get. They need Christy Litchie to hit this vault. Another small step on the landing. Not quite as good as she can do it, but a pretty good score.
9.875, and the Georgia Gym Dogs are done for this competition, but certainly Andrea Pickens is not, as she steps onto the floor for the Crimson Tide.
Andrea will feed off her team's energy. She is also a big tumbler. Run out back handspring, sky high, double back. See her teammates on the side dancing along with her. So 2 bonus jumps there. She'll get 1/10 the bonus.
You got it, Dre!
Just to show you how good she is, she has the first or second best average on every apparatus in the SEC this year, and that's just as a sophomore.
That's incredible. Front full, front tuck.
Don't worry about that ankle.
Sarah Patterson mentioned something about her ankle. It looked like she crunched it a little bit on that rebound into her second pass.
Andrea!
A little personalized music. There we go with the last pass. A double full, very clean.
Making a push for an all-around SEC title, Andrea Pickens.
Is your ankle all right? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Okay.
Big score from Andrea and a little concern about her ankle. They still need a big performance from her on the vault.
But we take a look at the scores on the 5th rotation. Georgia with that 49-2. Alabama, though, with that 49-325. Their 3rd highest score of the season on that apparatus. Georgia, they are done for the night. They have to sit back and watch. Who will be the SEC champions? We'll go to the last rotation when we return to Gainesville.
Ties. Anything better wins.
That's Alabama Assistant Sports Information Director Roots Woodruff telling Sarah Patterson they need 48-8 to tie, and that's a tall order, Lori.
They don't want to tie, they want to win, and this is the event they can do it on. They get 2 vaults, 2 chances at the title.
Now another look at LSU on the floor, finishing out on what could be their strongest event, but Dara Stewart will lead things off in this rotation for the Crimson Tide.
Competing a 9-9 vault, a handspring front pike, very clean. Maybe a 1/2 tenth deduction on the landing. She needs to hold that landing.
9.825 for Stewart. Now, just to clarify things, Alabama 5 times this season has not scored 48-8 in the vault. So it's definitely something they have to push for here.
Chances are on their side, though. They have the momentum from the other 3 events, and they are strong.
And a great start by Dara Stewart.
Absolutely. This is an impressive gymnast. She has impressed me over the last 3 years. Coming on strong here. Another pike, a small step back. Probably a similar score.
9.825, just what they need leading off from Dara Stewart. Brooke Anderson knows, it's going to be tough if they're going to pick up their 5th straight SEC title.
That's a tough spot to be in. Watching from the sidelines, you have no control.
But let's not forget about LSU and Abby Burns. They've got a good shot if Alabama falters just a little to maybe pick up a piece of that title, and a very good shot to go for 2nd.
And this is their event. They are so strong here. First pass, whip half, front full. Very nice. Just a slight deduction on her direction. Second pass is a high double back. Now she'll play it up a little bit. This is where the performance comes in.
And Abby Burns, after 4 years of doing this, knows just how to play to the crowd and the judges.
Oh, she knows how to work them.
Those dimples alone are worth 2 points at least. Really
dance into the country music.
Calling Baton Rouge. They're hoping to call for an SEC title here in a few minutes.
They have been spectacular tonight. We talked about them having to show up mentally, and they are doing the job. Last pass, round up against me, double full. Nice cover on that landing. Very strong routine.
And that's the way Abby Burns will finish up her career at the SEC Championships. A 9.85. Certainly we will see her in regionals, maybe nationals. But Abby Burns has the LSU Tigers pointed in the right direction if they want a piece of that SEC title. When we come back, more of the sixth rotation from Gainesville. Tigers, Tide, or Gym Dogs? Who's it gonna be? We'll tell you coming up next. Chrissy Heffernan, her last performance at the SEC Championships. A lot's changed since being honored as the SEC Freshman of the Year in 1997.
I guess as a freshman, I had a lot. I didn't really know what was going on. I was kind of oblivious to everything. I was kind of like the lost kid in the crowd. I didn't know what was going on. I was just following my teammates around, doing what I was supposed to do. But now I guess I'm kind of like the leader. Everyone looks to me to see what are we supposed to do. And I guess I've changed more that way. It's becoming more of a leader, I think, in my 4 years instead of more of a follower. And my gymnastics might not have changed much, but I think I changed more emotionally and mentally, and I think that's good. That's definitely a good thing to come out of 4 years of gymnastics, is being a bigger and stronger person. And that's definitely what's changed.
And certainly emotions are going to play a big part in this performance.
She's really having a lot of fun. She's trying to make the most out of her last SEC performance. She's trying to get the most out of her young team. Some combination work there into a ginger. Little leg separation as she catches the bar. She's swinging nicely, very strong. Giant half to a bail. Back up to the high bar. A little short on the cast. Double tuck. And she hits it. What relief. Wow.
And the tears release as well. 9.75 for Chrissy Heffernan.
She really has added a lot to this team. She'll leave her mark of wisdom and her experience that she has given to these youngsters throughout this entire season.
Good job.
Hugs all around for Kentucky superstar Chrissy Heffernan as she rounds out her career in Lexington with that strong performance here at the SEC Gymnastics Championships. And now over to the floor, and the SEC title on the line for Shannon McEachern.
Shannon came to LSU last year in January after competing for Canada for many, many years. We're going to see a different style in her floor team. Last year she came with her floor team already choreographed. This year, we see a little bit more of the college style. Right off back handspring, double pike. Very solid. Front full, front layout half into a sky-high Shushinova. Showing a combination of a jump combined with tumbling elements.
Now numbers play such a big part in gymnastics. Here's what LSU needs to get a piece of second place in the SEC. A 49.325. That would tie a season high, but it's exactly what they scored last week against Auburn when they had one of their best meets of the season. So certainly it's within reach.
But scoring season highs at an SEC Championships is very difficult. The scoring is usually a little tighter. There are 4 judges per event. The high and low score are thrown out, and the other 2 are averaged. So usually mistakes do not go unseen. Not many mistakes in this routine, though. She has done a great job.
Shannon McEachern keeping LSU in the fight for second place. A hug from Dee Dee Bro and a 9.875 from the judges as LSU continues their impressive push, and Sally Cantrell pushes herself up on the balance beam.
Well, 3/4, that is a D-level skill. She'll get 1/10 the bonus. Back handspring, layout. solid. She is so consistent on this event. It's just incredible. She really puts the spectator at ease because she's so calm and consistent. She has great jumps in this routine. 2 split halves, great bonus there. A lot of the girls attempting to do twisting jumps usually cheat the landing by 1/8 of a turn or 1/4 of a turn, but Sally is so consistent in getting every jump fully around. Right off double full, a solid routine.
Cantrell rounds out the competition for the Auburn Tigers with a 9.85. She's got 1 more year left. She's just a junior next year, probably competing for the all-around title. Final competitors when we come back to the 2000 SEC Gymnastics Championships in Gainesville, Florida. Boy, no pressure on this sophomore. Nikki Arnstead of LSU. All she needs is a career best 9.90 to give LSU a piece of 2nd place in the SEC Gymnastics Championships.
A tremendous opening pass. That was a triple full. Nikki is by far one of their best floor performers. We've really seen some great tumbling at these SEC championships. And another big pass, a double pike. Combination jumps for bonus. That was a switch side, Popa, Shushanova, 3 C-level jumps in connection.
I wonder if the pressure has even added more to Nikki, considering she's only competed in this event 5 times all year.
They have been saving her a little bit injured throughout the season. But this is her event. She's a great performer and a great tumbler. A layout front tuck, solid. Another outstanding Tiger routine.
The Green Bay, Wisconsin native, ice in her veins, no pressure at all, a 9.9, and LSU will tie for 2nd place in the SEC Championships with the University of Georgia, thanks to that tremendous performance by the sophomore.
And this tremendous opening pass, round off that handspring, triple full. Look at the twists all the way around.
And who better to wrap up this entire championship than Andrea Pickens on the vault.
One of the best vaulters in the country. Yurchenko half front layout. That is the vault that she injured herself against Georgia just a couple weeks ago. She was paying close attention to bend her knees on the landing. You can hear her teammates in the background cheering her on because she bent her knees.
Take a look at it one more time as we saw the score, 9.85.
A blind block from the horse coming from a round off on the board, so tough.
Pickens also in the running for the all-around title. Could nail it down right here.
And I think she nailed it. Nailed that title down and just maybe that team championship.
2 titles with 1 jump, 9.925. A hug from Sarah Patterson. And the Alabama Crimson Tide are the 2000 SEC Gymnastics Champions, taking the title away from 4-time defending champion Georgia.
A tremendous competition, very close, just the way these teams wanted it. And Alabama walks away as the victor.
And certainly Georgia can't hang their heads. One of their better scores of the year. We take this look at the 6th rotation scores, and Alabama with a 49.175. But LSU, look at that, tying a season high with that 49.325. But Alabama has rolled to another title. It's the vault heard around the conference. Andrea Pickens nailing down the SEC title for Alabama, ending Georgia's reign as the SEC champions. A new millennium, a new set of champions as Alabama really set Lori, they could make a run just like Georgia did in the 90s.
We said this could be Alabama's year, and it's turning out to be just that. They have the depth and the youth, and the incredible thing is they're performing so well without one of their top all-arounders, Robin Hawkins. They are only going to get better in the future.
Only 2 seniors on the squad. Remember, Andrea Pickens, maybe the top all-arounder in the country. And Lori, it's kind of ironic, this team that had to sit back and watch Georgia win the title in Tuscaloosa last year, they get to win it away from Georgia this year.
Certainly things were flip-flopped this year, and to Alabama's benefit, it's more exciting to be competing on the floor that last event, especially when you take home the victory.
You see LSU and Georgia tying for second place. Florida, an impressive performance considering the number of gymnasts they had to deal with. And Kentucky and Auburn round out the bottom 2. In the all-around, Andrea Pickens winning her first SEC all-around title, and Chrissy Van Fleet ending her career finishing second at the SEC Championships on her home floor. But right now, Lori has our champions.
Thanks, Justin. What a tremendous night. You guys will step to the podium as the 2000 new SEC champions. How does it feel?
Well, it's awesome. This was a great meet for us, and I'm so proud of this team after everything we've been through this year. They came together as a group. I knew that they were ready to do this kind of performance, and, you know, our last championship was right here in Gainesville. We ended on vault, and it's just a great feeling.
And talk about a record-setting night. You guys are peaking at the right time. A season-high score on the bars to start things off, and a second-highest score on the balance beam. How did that set the tone for the night?
Well, I think more than anything, to get those 2 pressure events out of the way, we were following Georgia and had LSU right on our heels, and I think to come out and get started on bars like that, that's our best event, and I think it set the tone for the whole evening.
And Andrea, our all-around champion, did you have any idea?
No, not at all. You know, I'm here for the team, and I'm just glad that we came out with enthusiasm and had fun and enjoyed ourselves and was relaxed the whole time. You know, and it just proved that, you know, if we're that way, we can do many things.
Well, any winning celebrations planned?
I don't know.
Well, enjoy it. You guys were fabulous.
Thank you.
Back to you, Justin.
Thank you. Congratulations to the champions as we take a look at the individual apparatus champions. Andrea Pickens, when you win 2 events, you're going to be the SEC champion.
She was just stunning tonight, and so was Christy Litchie on the balance beam, and of course that very exciting floor routine from Suzanne Sears.
Incidentally, the first time in 5 years a Georgia athlete has not won the vault. But the Alabama Crimson Tide begins their reign as the Southeastern Conference Gymnastics Champions. Will they continue, start a dynasty like Georgia? Well, the odds are certainly in their favor. What about the SEC individual honors? Julia Gore from Kentucky, the 2000 SEC Freshman of the Year. Actually following in the footsteps of Chrissy Heffernan in '97. And Dee Bro, the 2000 SEC Coach of the Year, but actually co-Coach of the Year, along with the Alabama head coach, Sarah Patterson. And here's an interesting note. The last time Sarah Patterson was Coach of the Year, she was co-Coach of the Year with Dee Bro. That was in Gainesville, and Alabama won the SEC title just like they did this year. How about that for a coincidence? Their warm-ups are silver, but the trophy is gold and will go in a big trophy case at Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The SEC Championships for the year 2000 are history. Some emotional performances here on the floor at the O'Connell Center in Gainesville, Florida. Do we have a new dynasty on hand in this new millennium? Alabama Crimson Tide fans certainly hope so. Georgia fans hope not, and we know the Bulldogs will be coming back very quickly. We've enjoyed bringing you this SEC championship from Gainesville. We'd like to thank all the coaches and sports information directors of the Southeastern Conference that make our job so easy. So that's it from Gainesville in the 2000 SEC Gymnastics Championships. For Lori Strong-Ballard and our entire SEC TV crew, I'm Justin Kazana. Congratulations to the Alabama Crimson Tide, your 2000 Gymnastics Champions.